Hi, and welcome to Aspire Test Prep's explanation video for our arithmetic mean worksheet, which you can find for free at our website at www.aspiretestprep.com. On that website, you can find an entire SAT math curriculum for free. You can do the worksheets, look at the answers, find out where you're at as far as your progress toward getting ready for your SAT, and of course, watch our videos for explanations. The first question gives us the average heights of 10 trees, and it asks us to find the average height of all of the trees. So this is a question you're likely to find on the calculator section, and you basically need to enter in all of these values into your calculator and divide by 10, because that's the basic way to find an arithmetic mean. So on my calculator, I have 72 plus 83 plus 76 plus 39 plus 75 plus 68 plus 111 plus 118 plus 228 plus 47, which equals 917. And to find the average, we're going to divide that by the number of pieces of data. So divided by 10, and we get 91.7. Moving on to number 2, we have the average GPAs of popular college majors, and we need the mean GPA of the 10 majors. So once again, we're going to go ahead and, because average is the sum of all the values over the number of values, we're going to go ahead and get the sum of all these numbers and then basically just divide by 10. So 3.36 plus 3.33 plus 3.02 plus 2.95 plus 2.90 plus 3.34 plus 3.3 plus 2.98 plus 2.9 plus 2.78 adds up to 30.86. And then we're going to divide that by 10, and we get 3.086, which would actually, for rounding to the 10th, we're going to round that to 3.1. 3.086, and in case you need a little refresher on rounding off, if we need these numbers, we need to look and see if the next number is 5 or greater, and it is, so that means we round up to 3.1. Next question is giving us the fastest 0 to 60 mile per hour acceleration times of mass production motorcycles. So if we're looking for the mean acceleration time of all the motorcycles, we're going to go ahead and take the average by finding the sum over the number of values. And to get the sum, we're going to add all the numbers, 2.35 plus 2.47 plus 2.5 plus 2.59 plus 2.6 plus 2.6, another 2.6, another 2.6. We're on the third 2.6 on the right-hand side, and we have 3 more 2.6s. And the sum, if I didn't get confused by all the 2.6s, the sum is 30.71. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide that not by 10, but by 12, because we have 12 values here. So we have 30.71 divided by 12, and that gives us 2.55916 repeated. So this, because we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, means we have to look at the next number, which is a 9, and we have to round up to 2.56, which is choice B. Going over to number 4, this is a question that a lot of my students didn't know how to do until they'd seen it explained one time. So A is the arithmetic mean of x and 7. So the arithmetic mean is the idea of adding them and dividing by the number of pieces. So A is the result you get when you add x plus 7 and divide by 2. B is the arithmetic mean of 2x and negative 3. So 2x and negative 3 added together, divided by 2. And C is the arithmetic mean of 3x and negative 10. So we're adding them, and we're dividing by 2. And so those are A, B, and C. Now the mean of A, B, and C is going to be, the average is going to be the sum of the 3 over the number of pieces. So if I do A, B, and C, that's 3 pieces. And if I want the sum of them, it's x plus 7 over 2 plus 2x minus 3 over 2 plus 3x minus 10 over 2. And all of that is being divided by 3. So to simplify, we need to go ahead and combine our like terms on the top. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 x's. And we have 7 minus 3, which is 4, minus 10. 7 minus 3 is 4, and 4 minus 10 is negative 6. So minus 6 all over 2, and that's all over 3. Now, this fraction here, a fraction is another way of expressing division. So what this really is 6x minus 6 all over 2, and that is all being divided by 3. And when you're dividing fractions, what you're doing is you're multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is 6x minus 6 over 2 times 1 over 3. So what we get there is 6x minus 6 all over 6. Simplifying this, we see that all 3 of these numbers are all divisible by 6. So we can simplify by dividing by 6 over 6. And that gives us x minus 1 over 1, or just x minus 1. Going over to number 5 now, D is the arithmetic mean of 3x and 2. So D equals 3x plus 2 all over 2. E is the arithmetic mean of x and 15, x plus 15 all over 2. F is the arithmetic mean of 2x and negative 10, 2x minus 10 all over 2. The mean of D, E, and F is going to be D plus E plus F all over 3. And we'll go ahead and fill in the pieces. 3x plus 2 over 2 plus x plus 15 all over 2 plus 2x minus 10 all over 2. And that's still all over 3. Combine our like terms on top. 6x plus 7 all over 2 all over 3. And that's, like we said before, 6x plus 7 over 2 times 1 over 3. So we're dividing by multiplying by the reciprocal of the second number. And so that comes out to 6x plus 7 all over 6, which is choice B. Number 6. R is the arithmetic mean of 4y and 13. So it's 4y plus 13 all over 2. S is the arithmetic mean of 5y and negative 15, 5y minus 15 all over 2. And T is the arithmetic mean of 3 numbers, negative 9y, positive 3y, and plus 25. But because we're getting the mean of 3 numbers, we have to divide by 3. So simplifying that a little, combining our like terms, we have T is minus 6y plus 25 all over 3. If we need the arithmetic mean of R, S, and T, that's R plus S plus T all over 3, and we substitute in our expressions, 4y plus 13 all over 2, plus 5y minus 15 all over 2, plus negative 6y plus 25 all over 3, and that is all over 3. Now we can't combine like terms here unless we get the same denominators. So if we have denominators of 2, 2, and 3, then we're going to want to multiply the 2's by 3 and the 3 by 2 in order to get a denominator of 6. So this one we can multiply by 3 over 3, the next one also by 3 over 3, and the next one by 2 over 2. So we have a little bit of work to do here. Distributing this green area, we have 12y plus 39. Distributing the blue, 3 times 5y minus 15, so that's 15y minus 45. And now, distributing this purple piece here, we have 2 times minus 6y plus 25. So that'll be negative, let's just say minus 12y plus 50. And now that we've combined our denominators, we can say this is all over 6. And that expression is all over 3. Combining like terms on the top, we have 12y plus 15y, so that's 27y, minus 12y brings it back to 15y. So we've got 15y and plus 39 minus 45 is negative 6, plus 50 is negative 44. Positive 44, excuse me. Plus 44 all over 6 all over 3. So this is 15y plus 44 all over 6 times 1 over 3. So you get 15y plus 44 all over 18, which is choice D. Moving along, we have questions on finding the smallest value that creates a potential ultimate average. This is something kind of unique to the redesigned SAT, where we have to find out what number will allow us to have the potential to do something else. Now, having the potential is kind of interesting mathematically. If you're a certain way through your marking period and you want to say to yourself, well, am I still able to get a 95 average? What you're doing when you do that is you imagine that you're going to do perfectly on all the next tests. So when you're talking about potential, you're talking about an ideal, which means that we're going to imagine that some of our values are perfect values. So in general, an average is the sum of all our values over the number of values, and that average is going to come from the fact that there are 13 quizzes where the student had an average of 87. Now we can count those all as 87s because the sum would be the same as if they were all 87, as long as the average is 87. Then we have another score that we don't know, and we want to have the potential of earning a 90. Well, this whole thing is going to be equal to 90. But so far we talked about 13 tests here and one more test here, so we're up to 14 out of a whole 20, which means that there are 6 more tests where we have to imagine that we're getting a 100. Because like we said before, if we're dealing with the potential, we're talking about almost like a perfect world where you just think you're going to do perfectly from here on out. And it's an average of 20 scores, so we have to divide it by 20. And this is our expression. 13 times 87 plus x plus 6 times 100 all over 20 equals 90. Going ahead and multiplying the 13 times the 87, we get 1,131. And plus x plus 600 all over 20 equals 90. Combining the 1131 and the 600, and we get 1,731 plus x all over 20 equals 90. Multiplying both sides by 20, we get 1731 plus x equals 1,800. And taking away 1,731 from both sides, we get x equals 69. And the answer to A is 69. So when you're dealing with these, if you're talking about having the potential, you want to just go ahead and imagine perfect scores for the rest of your scores. And another thing we're seeing on the redesigned SAT that makes it difficult is we're seeing the phrasing of inequalities, the lowest possible score, in situations where you're not actually going to use an inequality to do this, because what we're saying is 69 allows us to have the option of having a 90 at the end of the year. But if I had more than a 69, I'd have more than the possibility of getting a 90 at the end of the year. So even though it sounds like an inequality, notice that we just plugged in the actual number of 90 instead of saying that it was less than or equal to 90 or so on. Number 8. Jim's goal for his 10 years is to earn a salary of $60,000. He earns $35,000 his first year. Instead of saying $35,000, I'll just say 35, and the math will come out the same. Plus $40,000 for 4 years. So far we've talked about 5 years. The 1 year that had a 35 and the 4 years that had 40,000. Then we're going to talk about the year that we're wondering about, because the question says, what's the minimum amount that he can earn in the following year? So X is the following year. But at this point, we have 1 year plus 4 more plus 1 more, so we have 6 years. But we need a total of 10 in the situation, so we're going to go ahead and imagine 4 more years with perfect salaries of 100. Get the average of those 10 years, and that should be equal to Jim's goal of 60. So now just combining like terms and doing the math, 35 plus 160 plus X plus 400 all over 10 equals 60. Combining the like terms, we have 560 plus 35, so 595 over 10 plus X all over 10 equals 60. Multiply both sides by 10, and we have 595 plus X equals 600. Taking away 595 from both sides, X equals 5. So we were dealing with thousands from the beginning. So we just found out that the amount that Jim can earn in the following year is $5,000, and he can still have the potential of reaching his goal. So maybe Jim deserves a vacation. Number 9. The manager of a fast food restaurant is required to disseminate client satisfaction surveys to 500 customers. We need to accomplish an average score of 90 to avoid being demoted to burger chef. The first 300 scores had an average of 85. Then we need to know what is the average for the next 100 scores. So we have 100 scores with some unknown average. Notice that that brings us up to 400 scores because we have 300 so far plus 100, and we're up to 400. And that means that for the next 100 scores, we need to imagine perfection because we're talking about still being capable, still having a potential, which means we're talking about an ideal world, and for all the remaining scores, we have to imagine that those are just perfect. Divide this all by 500 because this is the average of 500 scores, and that should allow us to equal our goal of 90 to avoid becoming burger chef. Not that being a burger chef is so bad. 300 times 85 is 25,500 plus 100x plus a 1 with 4 zeros, because we have 4 zeros in that multiplication, divided by 500 equals 90. Further combining our like terms, we have 35,500 plus 100x over 500 equals 90. Multiplying both sides by 500, and you have 35,500 plus 100x equals 45,000. 100x, taking away 35,500 from both sides, gives us 9,500. Dividing by 100, x equals 95. So the 100 scores that they're asking us about have to have an average of 95 in order for it still to be possible to achieve the goal. Well, thanks for listening and watching our video on arithmetic mean problems. Now you can find the blank copy of this worksheet at aspiretestprep.com, and as for any of our worksheets, you should try the worksheet, figure out which problems you need the help with, and then check out the video, or the answer key, the solutions, to go ahead and figure out how to do it. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and contact us through our website or our phone number or our email, alex@aspiretestprep.com. If you like what we're doing, you can recommend our online tutoring to your friends or talk to your school administrators about having Aspire Test Prep teach an SAT or ACT class in your high school. Thanks very much.